All right, so we're here for part 2. This is diagnosing a rough running outboard, and we're going to cover some elementary parts of the ignition system here. Keep watching, you'll see exactly how I got this running a little better. And before we do that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right down there. Thanks. All right, so let's get started with this. If you haven't seen part 1, you might want to look at it. You can check that out by clicking on this link up here. Part 2 is going to be the ignition system, like I said earlier. And what I ended up doing was I went through the entire process and I changed this ignition control module, which solved the problem, or at least made the engine run better. So keep watching, you'll see how we did that, and more importantly, you'll see how we diagnosed it. I'm trying to cover basic ignition diagnostics. I'm trying to keep it simple so that anybody with some regular tools other than a DVA meter can go ahead and do the diagnostics on their ignition system with minimal amount of effort or investment. The one thing I'm not going to cover is stator plates and what goes on in this part of the engine. And I haven't run into an engine that's needed that yet. At least I don't have one handy. But when I do, I'll do a video on that as well. But for right now, we're just covering the output of the stator plate all the way through to the spark plugs. Before you do the ignition, one of the things you should do is clean everything with electronics cleaner, usually a spray. Tighten all your connections. It could be something as simple as a short or a dirty connection that's causing the problem. The first thing I'm going to do before I go into the ignition is I'm going to check the timing on this. I've got a timing light. We're going to start the engine up and we're going to go ahead and see where it's at. It should be about -3 before top dead center, plus or minus 1. And if it is, then we'll go on and keep troubleshooting. All right, we're going to start it up, get it warmed up, and check the timing right now. So if you check the timing on the Johnson and you do need to adjust it, you can do it here. If I'm not mistaken, inward will increase the timing, outward or counterclockwise will decrease the timing. This is where you would do it. I'm not going to mess with it. All right, the next step is to check if we're getting a spark. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've got these hooked up. I'm going to crank it. If it starts, it's fine. We can just check to see that there's an alternating spark. But really, I'm just looking to see if I got some, if we can get the neon bulbs in there to glow. So we got spark going to both of these. What this is not telling us though is how much spark is going on there. So Johnson calls for a 1/2 inch of spark on these. It's a spark tester. I've got a couple of different versions of this. I got a Lyle, and then this one actually is the best one. The Lyles fell apart, unfortunately. But I'll put a link to this stuff in the description below. So what I'm going to do is remove one of these. Put that back on. So this is set for a 1/2 inch. I'm going to set this right here. And let's turn it over and see if we get a spark. Gotcha. Yeah, I got a spark already. So if you notice, I got a pair of gloves on just to keep the spark from zapping me. No spark. Turn it in some. Still don't see a spark. Still no spark. I mean, if I go in any further, it's going to be touching. But that's probably 1/8 of an inch. And it's still not bridging that, so that's an issue. we know we got electricity, we know we got a spark there, we just don't know exactly how strong it is. So now we're going to start doing some troubleshooting on the ignition itself. Alright, so we're going to start troubleshooting the ignition. Before we do that though, there's a stop connector coming out of the stator, and what we're going to do is make sure that it's grounded when the engine's off. More importantly, when the engine's running, there should be no ground present. So that sometimes an intermittent ground will cause a rough running engine. So I've got my voltmeter, and I'm going to set it for continuity. And I do have a manual for this, so the manual specifies the E connector. So right now, actually, the engine's in the run position, so there's no ground. If I put the engine in the stop position, it should be shorted to ground, which it is. Again, put it in the run position. Got no continuity. If I pull the safety lanyard, which would shut the engine off, that creates a short. So basically the stop circuit is working correctly and it's not causing an issue. I'm going to put the lanyard back on. So the next thing I'm going to do is check the coil resistance. Primary coil should be about 1.5 ohms. And I'm just going to take these off for now. Leave them here. So we're looking at the number 1 cylinder coil here, and here's the this thing's a mess. You can tell that it's old, but let's look at the resistance on these coils. I'm disconnecting everything, and I'm going to measure the resistance to ground. So looking at the secondary coil is 250 ohms. It's in the kilo ohm range. 259, which is perfect. We'll check number 2. Got approximately the same reading, so that's good. The primary coil should be about 1.5 ohms. .6, 0.7. Let's look at this one. Or 1.5, 1. These are close enough. Primary. There we go. Their resistance is a little off on this one, but we'll see. It's not on this one. This one's spot on. 1.2, 1.1. It's close. When you're measuring that level of resistance, it gets a little difficult to get a good reading. So right now we've got these disconnected. All right, before we go any further, we're also going to test the spark plug wires themselves. These are new, so I don't think there's an issue with them, but we'll put this in a continuity test. And just check, there should be 0 resistance, which I'll get a beep if there is. Yep, that one's okay. That one's okay. Alright, the next step is check the output of the power control module. And I'm going to do that with a DVA meter. That's a direct voltage adapter. You'll need that, and what it does is it checks for alternating sine waves, if you will. It checks the peak voltage. It's not RMS, it's not root mean squared. It's very specific for small engines. If you don't have one, you can either buy one or you can build one. As a matter of fact, Stu at Danger Marine, you can click on this. He has a great video on how to make one relatively inexpensively. So I've got the meter. The DVA meter is set to 400. I've got the connector that comes from the stator plate. There's according to the manual, there's A and D. A is the ground or common. D is the hot part of it. So we should actually be reading about 250 volts. Before I do that, to protect the coils, I'm going to apply a ground to the output of the coils. I'm going to reconnect them. and then apply a ground to them. I've got this little jumper cable. It works great if you're doing compression tests or anything else where you got to turn the engine over without actually starting it. Alright, so there we go. Got the meter. So this is the output from the stator plate going to the ignition control module. And it's reading at 250 volts, which is exactly what it should be. Based on what I've seen so far, there's one other test I need to do. I kind of skipped through that one, but I'm going to hook this back up. And that's the actual output of the ignition control module to the coil. That should be reading about 200 volts. Now, there's usually an adapter that you would use for that. I'm going to switch leads. My ground lead is going to be an alligator clip. So what I do is, there's usually an adapter you would use to go onto here and also measure it, but I don't have one. So what I'm going to do is use this piece of wire and press this on here. We gonna good?
Yeah, you can see that.
Okay, good. And then I'm going to turn it over and see if I'm getting voltage on that. I already know I've done this, but here you go.
Not showing anything.
So we should get something out of here, and unfortunately we're not. I'm going to set the meter down to 20 volts and see if even that shows up. Actually, something does show up. Set it to 2. So on the DVA meter, we're getting about 5 volts, which that should be 200 volts. So just leads me to believe that this ignition control module is shot. So having said that, I'm going to disconnect it and we're going to swap it out. Turn it off. Alright, so I got a replacement module from CDI. I've done a few engines where I've used their parts, and they're actually a little bit less expensive than OEM. Actually, they're a lot less expensive than OEM, and they seem to do a good job. So let's replace this and see if this fixes this outboard. So there's really not a lot to removing and replacing one of these power packs. Other than the 2 bolts that's holding it on, there's basically a plug that comes in from the stator. There's a ground wire, and there's also the 2 leads that go to the primaries on the coils. We did have a bit of fun removing the old power pack. The plug was buried underneath a lot of these components that you see there. Fortunately, we didn't have to disassemble the engine, but I think the engineers that designed this had a little bit of a chuckle when they envisioned a technician or a mechanic replacing the power pack. We did manage to get it replaced, get all the wires in place. Had to modify the outputs to the coils a little bit. The rubber boot was a little bit too long, so we fixed that. And last but not least, I applied some silicone grease to all the connections that were going on in here. Attached them, and next we'll go ahead and fire the engine up and see if this helps. I'm going to start it up. See what happens. It's actually running better.
Is it?
Well, it started up.
Yeah. Stayed running too.
So that's it for this video. As you can see, we got a nice, really fat spark coming out of there with the new ignition control module. It was the best thing I ever did for this engine. Still running a little rough. I'm going to dial in the carburetors a little bit. There is no adjustment for the idle on these, but I'll probably take them off and clean them again. So I'm pretty happy. I think that changing that ignition control module was part of the problem. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, hit like and share it, and don't forget to subscribe. You can do that by hitting this button right here. Thanks for watching.